Hey guys, what is up?
At the least is aquí.
Before we do anything with this video, I just want to say I apologize about last week and yesterday. Sometimes life rocks the boat and you just gotta roll with the punches. There's really not much I can do, Unfortunately, I'm not in a position where I could sit here and prioritize this as much as I would like. So when things slash shit hit the fan, I kind of have to move and plan accordingly. So this video is going to be a little different from my previous two. I can't remember if I put in my post what I was going to talk about today, but we're not going to talk about that. I'm going to save that for next week. I'm going to talk about something from the heart. There's a part of me that's screaming that this video is not going to really do well because it deals with something personal. Right now, I don't really care. This is almost like therapeutic for me in a way where I could sit here and I could talk to this camera and I can make a video and stuff like that. So I'm going to use this opportunity to use this as a free therapy in a way. Not really. I just want to talk about something that I really, it's been nonstop on my mind for these past 2 weeks. Also, no hat this week. No hat this week. I'm becoming a lot more comfortable with my hair. I feel like, it's messy because I didn't really do anything with it today, but it kind of sits in a way where I don't really have to do anything, right? And it's kind of weird because of the angle, but that's besides the point. I want to talk about my mental health struggles. And these past 2 weeks have taught me a lot in terms of how I operate and, who I want to be and who I am at the current moment. I'm not going to go into personal details in terms of what actually happened, but essentially, the boat was rocked. The boat was rocked, to say the least. And I found myself realizing at the same time how much I've grown, but also where I need to grow. And I'll start with the first point where if something happened in my life, I would become stagnant, I would become stationary, and I would develop a woe is me mentality with myself and kind of just let myself go buck wild in terms of a lot of things, a lot of my vices. One of my vices, and I'm going to put this on the internet, which kind of sucks. One of my vices is fast food. I loved fast food. And with fast food, I would eat and eat and eat because it would make me feel good. And I know a lot of people struggle with that. That's why, a lot of people that I know, I say that like I know a lot of people, people that I've talked to, I should say, struggle with their weight because they use that as a coping mechanism for their emotions. Because when you're eating, it's like, at least for me, life goes away for a bit and you kind of just get to enjoy the meal. So what you do is you try to make that meal as big as possible with food that makes you feel the best, aka fast food, aka junk food from Target and stuff like that. The boat was rocked and I found myself not adopting that mentality, and that brought me joy. It brought me satisfaction. It showed me how much I've grown in terms of myself, and having that feeling combined with processing a lot of stuff, emotional whiplash to say the least, my good sir. So there's that, but also realizing where I need to focus my attention and where I need to grow. And I'll be candid with this. A lot of my struggles happen up here. They happen up here, and I have to. It is a constant mental battle in order to put myself at an equilibrium. And it is a goal that I strive for every single day in order to reach that equilibrium and find a way to sit with myself. And with the boat being rocked in this way, I found myself realizing that there is still a long way to go. A very, very long way to go. And it had a lot to do with self-worth, how people perceive me, lot of this mumbo jumbo crap that a lot of people struggle with nowadays. And I want to just say that I'm not someone that is good at expressing themselves in a way. And in reality, in terms of my personal life, there are 3 people that know. And it's basically one person I felt needed to know, and 2, I had to work up the courage to tell them because I didn't want to feel weird. And though this video is very rambly in a way and talking about my own struggles in a free balling sense of the word, I want to send out this message to not only you guys, but my future self when I watch this back. And that is, you do not need permission to exist. You do not need permission to be yourself. And as much as my channel name is based off of a D&D character that I made and somehow stuck, it also represents Atlas, he who holds the world, right? I could be completely wrong on that. If so, I got some shit to work out. But he who holds the world on his shoulders, I always felt like I had a lot of weight on my shoulders. I think that's why Atlas stuck. But you don't need to do that. You don't need to do that. There's still a long way to go. It's only the beginning of 2026. I can't wait to see what I become and what all of you become and what this channel becomes and everything becomes moving forward into 2026. If you resonated with anything in this video, though it was very rambly, I apologize. Next week, we're going back to talking about nerdy topics and stuff like that. If you resonated with anything in this video and you want a space to just type something out, whatever it is that you want, anonymous, go ahead and use this comment section. This isn't me engagement farming, okay? You don't have to. But if you're like me and you struggle with letting people in to your life and your struggles, use this comment section. I will read every single comment and I will respond to every single comment. Type something out, either for everyone else to read, to be cathartic for yourself, or maybe even a letter to your future self. I am going to do that with this video. You will see it in the bottom. And later on in this year, I hope to read it and come back. I feel like this video is tough because it's a lot of vague posting, if you know the term. I had full intention to sit down and make a video about Arc Raiders. I did not change the topic of this video until I hit the record button. And that's why everything's out of whack. But life rocks the boat. Life rocks the boat. You gotta just hold on. There was a quote. I'll end this video on this, and it's gonna be the nerdiest shit that you've heard all day. Part of my emotional process to get back up, if I'm feeling sad or down, to get back up, I will listen to either the cheesy motivational videos like David Goggins, if you know David Goggins, or Joey Diaz. He does a lot of stuff talking about life. I'll listen to those and that'll get me back up, okay, we need to go. Another one is edits of any kind that reflect the emotional state that I'm in. And I found one for one of my favorite animes, Chainsaw Man, where if you know nothing about Chainsaw Man and I were to show you clips, you would say it's a gooner anime. The main character, his whole goal is to touch boobies and other things on a surface level. I'm gonna say that, on a surface level. But it's one of those stories that once you take a deeper dive, that's not what it is. And he was fighting, I think his name's Katana Man. Out of context, these names are just too good. He was fighting a guy with swords for hands and face. And obviously Katana Man was talking smack, talking shit. On top, if you've seen the show, it's where they're on top of the train and they're looking at each other. And it's not even a big moment, but Katana Man essentially says something along the lines of like you're gonna lose in a I can speak sort of way. And Denji, aka Chainsaw Man, said, if I got a pulse, I got a chance. Like I said, it's the nerdiest shit because he says that and then bum rushes the guy. But when he said that, I was like, that's true. If you have a pulse, you can breathe, you can do anything, you have a chance. What matters is that you keep going. You keep moving forward. I'm sorry for this somber Sunday video. Like I said, I found myself really liking talking to the camera, whether that's for any topic, really. And I felt very compelled to make a video like this because I want to be, I was talking earlier about struggling to let people in my life. I feel like this is easy. So I hope you guys have a blessed Sunday. If you need it, go down to the comment section and type whatever you want. We move forward. I will see you next Saturday or Sunday. That was nerdy. I'll see you next week.